In 2018, the average fertility rate among all jobs was 3.4 per 100,000 workers. It has been found that some jobs are significantly more dangerous than others. People are traveling around the world for jobs to earn money, ignoring risks of injuries and deaths. Many are leaving their families behind to give them better life standards. Although in jobs, people have to maintain discipline and they're bound to all kinds of tasks involved, on the other hand, the businessmen are having a relaxed time without having any fear. Even though many people are putting themselves in perilous jobs to earn more money, they overlook the environments, materials, and the equipment that involve threats. Here are some dangerous jobs involving risks but are very common. But before we begin, take a moment to hit the like and subscribe buttons and keep watching until the end. Logging workers. These workers operate heavy machinery and gadgets. They're responsible for cutting down the trees and transporting those logs to the required place. Logging workers have to work far away from the city and town, sometimes in treacherous places, involving steep slopes, falling trees, slippery areas, and rough terrain. Apart from discussing before, exposure to extreme weather conditions, insect bites and stings, and contact with wildlife. The causes of injury and death for logging workers is by falling trees or logs, injured or died by machinery or while transportation. 132.7 per 100,000 workers is the injury or death rate for logging workers, which is alarmingly very high. However, the workers should take some safety measures to keep themselves safe for their families who pivot on them. Fisher. Albeit this field fascinates and attracts people's attention due to adventure, however, at the same time, it is fraught with danger. Many people have lost their lives by not taking it seriously. As oceans are contentious, fishing workers catch fish and other sea animals from the ocean. They work in fish farms and processing plants. Fishing is one of the most hazardous occupations, which includes unfavorable weather, the risk of drowning, the entanglement of the fishing gear, and the fatal injuries in the deep ocean. Although fishermen are very experts, sometimes their expertise turn into failure due to inimical situations. Their injury or death rate is 19.5 per 100,000 workers. Keeping in mind this detriment, fishermen should take some safety measures by wearing proper floating devices, maintenance of the fish gear, keep aware of the weather conditions, and most importantly, to be trained and certified from the relevant field. Pilots and flight engineers. This is one of the most perilous occupations, which involves deaths and hardly any injuries. Pilots and the flight engineers have to be well educated and well trained in this field, owing to the fact that they have to conduct the safety protocols during flight, since they are amenable for the diverse weather conditions and emergencies. They have to navigate the airplanes and helicopters and must be able to elucidate flight data, air traffic control, and weather reports. Pilots and flight engineers have to face various risks such as low oxygen level while flying at high altitude, turbulence, mechanical failure, and terrorism threats. Although this is one of the highest paid occupations, it involves life-threatening risks. Their injury or death rate is 48.6 per 100,000 workers. There must be some precautions that need to be followed. For instance, they need to be alert during flight for emergencies, aircrafts should be maintained, weather conditions should be informed, crew of the plane should have sufficient rest instead of fatigue. Construction workers. However, these are professionals in putting up and repairing buildings, making bridges, roads, tunnels, and know how to work with a variety of materials. Usually, they work for the companies or for the government. But construction workers' lives are at big risk due to the dangerous sites, heavy mechanical equipment, steep slopes, work on heights, heavy loading, and the use of dangerous materials, especially working with the electrical wires. Moreover, they face electrical shocks, eye burning due to flying of debris and dust, burning from hot tar, exposure to chemical materials, falls from the height, and dehydration in the hot weather. Their injury rate is 9.4 per 100,000 workers, which cannot be overlooked. Most of the workers have to work abroad due to unemployment, which is very strenuous for them because they are easily exploited by the employer. But they have to survive there for their dependents. They don't bother what they're compelled to do. As they're doing minutiae tasks, they need to be trained, well-equipped, and well aware of how to operate the machinery to keep themselves safe. Firefighters. This work includes the prevention and control of fires. This is also considered to be one of the most dangerous or a life-threatening job in which the workers have to be exposed to the fire, which causes burning, smoke inhalation, injuries from collapsing structures, suffer from heat exhaustion, and severe illnesses such as asthma, persistent coughing, heart disease, cancer, and lung damage. Miners. Miners are always in danger. Their task is to extract coals and other minerals from underground and sometimes on the surface mines. Their job is to operate heavy machinery, drilling, blasting, and transporting materials to the surface. Gases, fumes, and dust are very audacious for their lives. This won't be wrong to say that these people are doing jobs by putting their lives at risk, but their earning is very low. Also, the risk of falling is entailed while working from the height, collapsing of walls and roofs due to explosion. Hearing loss cannot be ignored while using equipment that creates high sounds. In short, miners always face health issues and accidents due to explosions in the mines. Taking into account their injury ratio, which is 25.4 per 100,000 workers, miners need to take some precautionary measures to face all the challenges, such as they need to be properly trained and wearing special dresses while working. They should take part in these safety training courses and be well aware of their surroundings. Waste collectors. Their job is to collect, transport, and dispose of waste materials from residential, commercial, and industrial areas through garbage trucks. In spite of the fact it looks very easy to collect waste by operating equipment, but sometimes their lives become in danger due to foul gases, but these hurdles do not weaken their strength. Even though waste collectors should be very vigilant to take some safety measures while keeping in mind their injury ratio, which is 30 per 100,000 workers, they must wear protective equipment, follow safety procedures, and be well aware in the residential and commercial areas while working. Crane operators. Crane operators have a very risky job when they slip while climbing. From 2011 to 2017, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, 42 deaths happen annually. Cranes can collapse and crush the workers due to being exposed to wind and physical forces. Electrical failure is also one of the issues, which puts the workers in trouble. Becoming a crane operator is not an easy job. They should be well trained and experienced. They should know how to operate in arduous situations instead of getting bewildered. Iron workers. Iron workers are responsible for installing iron and steel on buildings, bridges, and roads. They also use equipment for cutting, bending, and welding iron and steel. Iron workers do multitask by climbing on the prodigious structures, loading and unloading iron and steel. Their injury rate is 29 per 100,000 workers, so there must be some precautionary measures to be followed by putting on appropriate dresses and special glasses for welding and gloves while welding, to keep safe from any unpleasant happening. Delivery drivers. Their job is to load and unload trucks for any specified vehicle and drive them to their destination within a local area. They get stuff from distribution centers or stores and deliver them to homes and to different places on order. They also need to communicate with customers to coordinate deliveries and to collect payment for goods. Their injury rate is 27 per 100,000 workers, which shows that delivery drivers need to be cautious and have a driving license while performing their duties, for the reason that vehicle crashes are very fatal, which leads to death. Highway maintenance workers. These workers are responsible for maintaining highways, roads, runways, and other types of roads. They fill patches on the roads, fixing rails and tracks, maintain road signs, fences, replacing and repainting road markers, and removing snow or ice. Even though these tasks look very easy to do, therefore become fatal when workers keep working on the busy roads and get hurt by the vehicles. Their injury rate is 18 per 100,000 workers. Though it is very less, yet management needs to make safety measures for the workers and make sure to follow them. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Take a moment to hit the like and subscribe buttons before leaving, and ring the bell icon to stay tuned. See you another time.